We're going to go ahead and get started. And as people filter in, that's totally okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully during this lunch hour, you all have something amazing or delicious to snack on. That's definitely my next move after this webinar. But welcome to our product demonstration of how Rheaply helps teams remodel, refresh, and decommission spaces. I'm your host for today. My name is Lily MacLean. I'm a senior solutions engineer here at Rheaply. My role is to connect organizations and people to our product and software. A few notes and housekeeping items to just take care of here at the front is this is a product demo. So today's presentation will showcase the Rheaply platform, which is what we're all here to see and learn about. We will talk about 3 features. There are more features and more workflows that Rheaply addresses with our current clients. However, today's demo will focus just on a few of those features and workflows. At the same time, microphones are going to be muted throughout the session. It's not because I want to hear myself talk, far from it. We just want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to see the product and the demonstration. There will be around 10 minutes or so at the end of the session to address questions. So during the session and during the demo, if you guys wouldn't mind submitting your questions to the Q&A module through Zoom, that way we can address those questions towards the end of the demonstration. Awesome. So we're going to do a quick intro. We're going to do some demos of our platform here. We're going to start with suggestions, which is a feature powered by AI. We're going to talk about the Rheaply preferred network, and then we're going to finish off with some data and reporting, and of course the Q&A, as I mentioned. So just to set the stage here for a second, our demo is going to center around 3 of these activities: remodels, refreshes, and decommissions. And it's not a secret that in today's landscape, it necessitates these activities. In a post-COVID world, in-person expectations are changing. We're changing our work model. We're reimagining workspaces. And as these items need to find new homes, today's systems make that difficult to accomplish. So existing systems make throwing items away easier than finding new homes. At the same time, finding buyers and donation partners is time consuming. And at the end of the day, when your top priority is meeting deadlines, so having these spaces ready for their new materials and new resources and having employees come into those spaces, meeting those deadlines is difficult, and there's time restrictions on that process. So the Rheaply platform is really positioned to help you find homes for these items. Our mission is to make sure that every workplace resource finds its next best use. And now we're going to go ahead and jump straight into the demo so that we can talk about how we bring some of those workflows to light. So to talk about the platform as a whole, our process and what we aim to accomplish is 3 things. So we want to give you resource visibility, allow and empower resource exchange, and then give you data and reporting at the end that ties everything together. The idea is that by having visibility into your portfolio, so if you're going through these projects, if you're going through remodels, decommissions, refreshes, having visibility into what actually is in those spaces and having details around those resources helps you to make more informed decisions and better choices about where these assets can end up. At the same time, the Rheaply platform allows external parties to be connected into those resources and centrally exchanged in our platform. So parties can actually come into the platform, have visibility into the resources that you allow them to have visibility into, and claim those resources from you so that they can have those next homes and those resources can find that next use. And then tying everything together is that data and reporting. So as these items are coming out of your spaces and finding those new homes, you guys are getting sustainability, financial, and general inventory data around the impact that the platform is having. So to start with the topic of visibility and the topic of how do we get these items into the platform and complete that first step of getting in additional information. We call the creation process creating a listing. And what we're doing is we're creating a digital version of the resource that might be coming out of a space. And we want to make this process as easy as possible for people within your organization. So the people who have the ownership and control over the surplus in these spaces, we want to make it a simple, seamless, instantaneous process to digitize these assets so that you can have visibility into those assets and others can claim these assets from you. So I'm going to show that process through the lens of our suggestions feature. Something that's very cool about this feature is, let's say that we're going through a decommission, a refresh, a remodel, and we have items that we want to find new homes for. Let's say that they're Herman Miller Aeron chairs. You guys get to see me typing in real time, so hopefully I don't make any typos. Looks good from here. What I'm actually able to do is use our suggestions feature, which is powered by AI, to generate details around this resource. This allows me as a user to quickly generate information that is helpful for other people. It might be helpful for other users within the organization who need additional data around this resource to make informed choices about it. And it's also helpful for the people that are claiming these resources on the demand side. So donation partners, external partners that are coming in here and wanting to know details about this resource so that they can claim it. So I'm going to use this suggestions feature to generate those details. And while it's generating, I'm also going to drop a picture of what these chairs actually look like. And that's pretty much it. That's the simple process of digitizing these resources. As soon as I do that, I have an understanding, and I can scroll down here to say, look, the suggestions feature generated the description for me. It allowed me to put in details of what this chair actually is, what is it good for. It also helps me to generate details which are important for the impact in the reporting that is shown later in this demo. So if I see the details help me generate what the replacement cost, as well as the weight is of these items, that allows us to generate the sustainability and financial impact that this platform would have if you're using it through this project. So if I have these Herman Miller Aeron chairs and I'm quickly digitizing them, maybe I have 100 of them, I'm going to use the suggestions feature to fill out the details for me. And all I have to do is simply publish this resource. Once it's published, we call that, it becomes active in our Rheaply product, and it's able to be interacted with by a variety of people. But before I move to that piece, I wanted to talk a little bit about our preferred network, which is our second portion of this demo. What the preferred network is really your private network of external partners that can claim these items from you. So in this workflow where we're adding Herman Miller Aeron chairs and these are coming out of a space, the idea is that these chairs need to find a new home. We have clients today that are using only internal users, so other people within their organization, to be able to claim these resources. That's 100% an option. And we also have clients that are using this preferred network. Again, your private network of external partners. It can be a combination of both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. The idea is that we want to find new homes for these items depending on your business rules. Now, your preferred network can be a combination of different partners. They can be charities, they can be nonprofits, they can be business partners. These can be partners that you're working with today. If you already have donation partners that you say, hey, Rheaply, we have a good network of donation partners today. That process is a little manual. Can you help us? The answer is yes. What we end up doing is we allow those partners access into your instance of the platform so that they can claim these resources instantaneously when they sign up. Alternatively, if you don't have those partners, that's okay as well. Rheaply can help source those partners according to your business rules and allow those partners to have access into your portfolio when you give them that access. So if I come in here and I'm about to publish this resource that AI helped me generate those details, I can choose who has the ability to claim these resources. I'm going to choose my preferred network, meaning I'm going to choose my private network of partners that I have deemed available and fit to claim these resources, and I'm simply going to publish this resource. Once I publish this resource, apologies, I'm going to have to move this for a second. Once I publish this resource, it becomes active in our marketplace. And I chose, as the supply side, as the organization, perhaps many of you all, with items to be circulated, I chose the preferred network. So I gave it the ability to be filtered into that organization's view. And now I'm looking at that as that organization. Maybe I'm donation partner A, and this is my view of the platform as I see it. I come in here as a marketplace. I come in here as a shopping experience. I can search for specific items if I'm interested, and I can also search from the listings and the items that you as the organization have. So as you'll notice, I see those Herman Miller Aeron chairs right here. And I see a bunch of other stuff that might be coming out of this refresh, decommission, or remodel. As that preferred network partner, I have the option to click into that listing, again, the digital version of that resource, to learn more about that resource. I can see how many are available. I can see generally general information, such as the description that our suggestions feature generated, and I have the ability to interact with this listing. What that means is I have the ability to make an offer. I can add this to a cart. I can save this. There are a lot of options that we're not going to fully get into today because this meets the needs of different workflows. The general process, however, is the exchange portion. So what we talked about beforehand is the idea of digitizing surplus, getting all of these resources that are in surplus, that are coming out of these spaces into the platform so that you have the ability to make choices around that. Now, as a demand side user, as donation partner A, that again is either already doing business with you today in a manual way, or as someone that has been sourced by Rheaply, I have instantaneous view into the items that are coming out of these spaces. This allows people with surplus to be more proactive in the way that they think about remodels and decommissions. If I know that a remodel is coming up in, let's say, 6 weeks, I have the ability to digitize the items that need to be taken out of that space. And I, as a donation partner, have instantaneous view into what's available for me to claim. I can see those details. And then, as the process suggests, this is an exchange process, and I have the ability to make offers and exchange these items. All of this takes place in the platform. All of this is managed in the platform. So at any point, if I have questions about this resource, I can message the organization. I can have a fluid conversation in platform, and it's all taken care of centrally in the technology. As these items are moving, so we're digitizing these resources, surplus is being digitized and put into the product. Donation partner A, as well as business partner B, as well as charity partner C, are all claiming the surplus that they can claim from these projects. The last piece to this is our reports. So how actually are we able to generate these reports and grab data as these actions are happening? So the Rheaply platform aggregates these exchanges and captures the data as these exchanges are happening. So as these items are being taken out of a potential remodel or refresh and being put into new homes, the Rheaply platform is capturing the data that our suggestions feature helped to generate, the sustainability, the financial data, as well as other data, and putting it into reports that are available for you as the organization that has the surplus. So if I am going through these decommissions and remodels, and I want to know the sustainability impact, if I want to know the financial impact, the cost impact, all of that impact, at any point in time, I have real-time data into what that looks like. We're not going to talk about all of these reports, just a handful of them, but we're going to start with estimated embodied carbon avoided. So from a sustainability lens, I have the ability to come in here and see over time through reuse, what was avoided, how much estimated embodied carbon was avoided. Now, what that means is because these items were reused through donation partners, through internal reuse, basically not sent to the landfill, these items did not have to be manufactured brand new. And so this is our estimated embodied carbon avoided that calculates through that reuse, what is my level of impact and what does that look like? I have the ability to change the date range and the types of exchanges. And again, perhaps a conversation for another time. But the idea is aggregate reports around the sustainability lens of the estimated embodied carbon avoided. From a very similar lens, we'll talk about the weight diverted. So over time, I can see how much weight we diverted through reuse. We were able to use this product and exchange these resources and push them to potential donation partners and external partners. And these items were not sent to landfill. Therefore, we have an estimated weight diverted over time. And as a reminder, our suggestions feature that I showed at the first part of this demo helps to give us accurate weight data around these resources. So when I'm posting these Herman Miller Aeron chairs that are coming out of this refresh, and AI in our suggestions feature is giving me an accurate representation of the weight. Once these items are being claimed by donation partner A, this is immediately filtering into our reports to give you all the view of how much weight you're diverting over time. Again, able to filter date range and units and all that good stuff. Then the last report that I wanted to talk about today is the value available and recaptured. So from the sustainability lens, we definitely want to help and capture data around what is the impact through reuse, but there's also a very real cost avoidance lens and financial impact through reuse. So if I take a look at this report and I say over the last year, how much total value was available? Another way to think about this is if you're going through these projects, these remodels, these decommissions, these refreshes, and you have these items sitting in surplus ready to find new homes, how much total addressable value is sitting there in those items? And then if we think about it through a lens of these items are being donated, these items are being reused internally, whatever the case might be, how much cost is being avoided right now through these items being reused as opposed to being purchased brand new? We can also think of this as value donated if these items are all being donated. And we can come up with a couple of different ways to think about it depending on where these assets are going. But the idea is that over time, you have the ability to see the cost perspective of reuse and through using the product. So to cap off the demo portion of this, we talked about suggestions. So getting stuff into the platform. We want it to be super easy to digitize these resources and have instantaneous visibility into what's in surplus. Second, we want your preferred network to be able to claim these resources from you in real time to help take these resources from your portfolio and be able to manage the timelines that you might have for these type projects. And third is the idea of data and reporting. So making sure and allowing the impact of reuse and sustainability to be shown very brightly on the platform at any point in time. Now, just to come back here for a second, at the core, Rheaply puts reuse on the table for every business. So our goal is to make sure that valuable products stay in use, which reduces costs and landfill waste and helps you reach your ESG goals. We do this in a couple of ways. What we talked about today was mostly about our digital marketplaces. We also do have a product that focuses more on inventory management. So going upstream of that process of we have surplus, how can we get it to the hands of people that need it? Can we go upstream of that and think about how we manage our inventory in the first place before it gets to the spot of where it needs to find new homes? So we do have a product that addresses that. We also have sustainability solutions that range from decommissions to disposition and donation services. With that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for Q&A. I know we have about 12 minutes left, so we're running a little bit early, but I'll go ahead and open it up for Q&A.
Plenty of time for questions, and we have some good ones coming in. So as a reminder, you can use the Q&A module if you have a question on your mind that you want Lily to answer, but I'll just take the ones that we've had so far. So first question is, if our company makes a donation of a particular number of chairs at a particular dollar value, can we use the platform as a form of a receipt for the donation?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I'll actually go back to I will go back to here to show you a bit more of the platform. You unlocked a bit more of the platform. So we actually have a way to track the items and what has happened through the platform. And we call that the exchange center, or we call it, the way that we receive and track orders. So I have the ability to go in at any point and view what has happened. And it helps me determine the date as well as the quantity and actually what was delivered. So this is a demo environment. This is not, there's not real data in here, but the idea is that you have a very clear understanding of what has been donated and to whom it went and what date it happened, the quantity and all of that stuff. That can be leveraged in a couple of different ways. So yes, you can leverage it as a sort of receipt of what actually transpired. We also have clients that use it as a way to actually operationalize the movement of some of these materials. So making sure that we know, okay, like if I'm going to look at a list of all of these items that are leaving, who are those items going to, who made those claims, and who actually grabbed those resources. Great question.
Amazing. Thank you, Lily. Next question, how does the weight get determined? Is that from manual input?
Oh, great question. Yeah. So the weight is generated through our suggestions feature. So if I come back here and I'll go back into creating a listing. So our suggestions feature, it generates description, weight, and replacement cost. Weight and replacement cost directly feed into our reporting. And so the weight that gets generated through the title. So if you notice when I put Herman, we'll do this one again, Aeron share. When I put in Herman Miller Aeron share, the suggestions feature helps me scrape data for that share on the internet and gives me the best option for that based on what it finds. So if I scroll down here it's going to tell me that the weight is 37 pounds. So if we take a gander, and that's pretty accurate. If at any point, if for some reason I have a chair that is extra heavy, extra light, I have the option to change that weight, but this does absolutely help us get as close to the mark as possible in terms of what's available and what data we have available to us. It's a great question.
All right. Do you have data about users by their location?
Oh yeah, that's a good question as well. So we do have data about users, and I'm going to pop over. I'll do this one actually, since I'm already over here. So we do have reports around engagement and how the platform is being used, and we have reports around, how active the users are and what they're doing on the platform. But as well, there's also different privileges within the product. So one of the things that we didn't talk about today during the demo portion, but we'll talk about now, is that we've set up the platform to meet the needs of your business. So we have different user roles and permissions. We have admins. We have people that are just able to post surplus, just able to claim surplus, and a lot of other options. However, admins have full control over the platform and who gets access to it. So it's typically a conversation that we have with our clients when we're going through the onboarding process of who do you want, where are the locations, and all that good stuff. Admins have control over who gets to have access to the platform and what the program should look like. But in addition to user-based location, there's also asset-based location. So if I wanted to go into I'm going to go back here to I'm the donation partner A. I do have the ability to look by location, and it's not based on the user, but it is based on the asset. So if I go here and I say view all listings, I can choose, hey, I'm interested in listings, again, digital versions of these assets that are within a specific radius to myself. So maybe I choose, 5, 10, 15 miles to keep it as local as possible. But location does play a big part in our platform, but it's typically from the lens of the asset or the resource and less so of the user. However, as mentioned before, the admin does have full control over who has access and is able to provision some of those pieces to allow different users from different areas to access the product, depending on your business rules.
Great, super thorough. Is there an average size in terms of number of employees and/or facilities for a Rheaply customer?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we are asset agnostic, we are use case agnostic, and we are client agnostic. I don't know if that's the right word, but the idea is that Rheaply we want to find homes and use for every workplace resource for any organization. So we have clients that range from very, very large tech companies all the way down to smaller businesses and anywhere in between. There are different offerings and there are different ways that we can support depending on your needs. So if it's more project-based versus if it's a little bit more continuous, there are different ways that we can talk about that. And that's typically a conversation that we'll have with all of our clients when we get into a more one-on-one conversation. Question.
Got it. Oh, they're coming in fast now. In your embodied carbon avoided calculation, does this take into account the transportation from point A to point B, or is it solely the asset itself?
Yeah, an excellent question. So it is solely the asset itself. Our calculations are based on the exchange of the asset and the category and the actual asset that is being exchanged. Part of the reason for that is because we don't have the information or the data on where the original asset would be manufactured. So it doesn't take into account, the transportation cost if it was manufactured overseas and brought over versus in the US and brought to a different plant or a different site. So it only takes into account the asset. But we do have conversations with our clients around if they're already doing work around the transportation of their unique workflows. That's a conversation that we have on an individual basis with our clients. So if that's something that's interesting for you or something that your business and organization is doing, it's definitely a conversation that we can have.
Amazing. The major difficulty we're experiencing is finding finding interested partners to donate or sell used furniture to. Does Rheaply help find those external partners, or is the product focused solely on the platform to inventory and track?
Oh, wow. Yeah, excellent question. You guys are really asking some great questions. Appreciate that. So Rheaply, part of our offering 100% is to find the partners for these items. And we have an entire team that's dedicated to that. Their job is to make sure that there are partners that can find it. And that is part of our preferred network offering. So when you sign up for the platform and you say, hey, like we're having issues, or we haven't really found that many partners that want to claim this. Rheaply goes out, and if we don't already have partners in the area, then we'll find additional partners that will want to claim this stuff. Within limitation, there are very few assets that cannot find homes. We have a lot of partners ranging from refurbished partners all the way through donation and business partners. There are a handful of assets that our goal is to make sure that none of these assets end up in landfill. So we put in our due diligence to make sure that we find partners that can claim your stuff. A lot of time what that looks like is doing a walkthrough or understanding more about your specific assets. But we've found homes for almost all of the assets that have come through our platform.
Amazing. That's such a good perk and benefit of working with Rheaply, is that we can do that work to help you find those partners if you don't have a good network existing today. Man, we got 3 minutes and a few more questions coming through, so we can take them fast. And we're happy to follow up at the end with anything we didn't get to today. When offering donations of chairs, for example, is it typical to expect the recipients to come and pick up the items themselves, or what are the common scenarios for that?
Yeah, great question. So it totally is. It's completely up to your business rules. So we have clients that almost exclusively never have donation partners come to their site. Depending on if it's a warehouse site, there's typically requirements of coming to that site. And we also have clients that they're totally fine with that. So it ranges. And we work to meet your needs. So if you don't have a preference, we can suggest and work through that process. Typically, when the donation partners come, it's a bit easier on the people that have the supply, right, to allow that. But if that's against your business rules, we can also help to set up some processes around what that logistics process looks like. So are there pickup days? Are there locations where, we have those pickup days and anything in between? So it really depends on what your preferences are as a business. But we've worked with all over the spectrum of what that can look like and how that should be carried out from that organization's perspective.
Amazing. All right. I'm going to merge a couple questions here together into one, but these days there's a lot of office furniture resellers, and of course there's Craigslist. What are the differentiators for Rheaply? And can you cross promote listings on other platforms, or what challenges do we see for clients to get partners to sign up as users?
Yeah, another great question. So I think there's a lot, in my opinion, that I think differentiates us between a Craigslist or an online auction site. I think the main one is really at the heart of our business, which is reporting and around sustainability. So what you're going to get, and what Rheaply really prides itself on, is the ability to get the feedback of what reuse is actually happening. So typically with a lot of the processes that exist today, you're potentially able to find some of these homes, but you might not get that reporting back at an aggregate level in a way that's reportable to the rest of your business. The other piece to that is our platform is really centered around businesses and the users. So we want collaboration. We want the ability for teams to manage this process, as opposed to potentially one-off scenarios where you might hand over some supply to someone who's able to put it on an auction site or put it on a site. And don't get me wrong, all of that is awesome. As long as these items are not ending up in landfill, that's all a plus. But we want to make sure that you guys get reporting back, that you're able to make this a user-friendly experience, and that teams are able to collaborate on this, and your business is able to operate in a more efficient way. And it's not just simply a tool to get rid of some of these items. And Jen, apologies, there was a second piece of that question that I think I'm missing, if you want, and I know we're at time, but I do want to finish off that question.
It was about hurdles for getting partners on board. Like, how do you get your partners engaged in using the platform?
Yes, that's a great question. So we are very user friendly. But we have a great customer success team as well as our sustainability team, as mentioned before, whose job is responsible for finding and sourcing these partners. We have very good relationship with these partners, but we provide a lot of support. We're very hands-on. We're not giving you this platform and saying, see ya, like have fun. We're part of our process is being involved and making sure that these pieces find home in whatever way we can. And so that onboarding process is very personal. We want to make it scalable, but we also want to make it comfortable for your partners as well as yourself. I know we're at time, so I'm sorry I rushed through that question, but I thought that was an important question and a great one.
Yes, I think that's it for questions. There were a few more that we can follow up with after. I know you have a closing slide if you wanted to pop up the closing slide real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the reminder there. Yeah, just thank you for joining. Really appreciate all the thoughtful questions and collaborations. Feel free to follow this link to see how Rheaply can work for you. You might all have, unique use cases and workflows, and we definitely want to have those conversations to find if there's a solution or a fit. So feel free to follow through on that link, and we'll have these further conversations and we'll get to chat some more. But thank you so much for your time today, and hopefully this was a helpful session.